welcome back to another episode of
My Waifu
and me. And on today's episode, we have a very special treat for all of you. We are giving you our manga shelf collection tour. Yes, that means we're going to be going through every volume of manga that we actually have here. And if you saw our shelf collection tour from about a year ago, and you've watched our channel since then, you will know that a year ago we had about 250 volumes. At the end of this, and probably in the thumbnail and title, you will know exactly how many volumes we now have less than a year later. And I promise you, it's gonna blow your mind. So let's go ahead and get right into the shelves. No time to waste. This is gonna be long. Grab your popcorn, grab everything you need. And if you enjoy this video, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe in order to help us out here as we try to grow our channel on My Waifu and Me. Hopefully you guys enjoy the collection. Let's get right into it. All right, we're going to be starting here with our three main bookshelves, our three Billy bookshelves from IKEA. So we're going to start at the top there and go all the way to the bottom. All right, everyone. So our first shelf mainly consists of Shonen Jump manga, and we've actually organized it by publisher and in alphabetical. So that's how we're going to actually start the shelf off. So the first manga that we have on the shelf here is Act Age, volumes 1 and 2, which is all that was published here in English. We both have not read that series yet. And then we have volumes 1 and 2 of Assassination Classroom. We didn't buy the box set. Found those at Half Price Books, which is awesome. But we actually have not read the manga. We've only seen the anime series. But it is a fun Shonen Jump series from a couple years back. And then we have volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Black Clover, another very popular Shonen Jump series. And the thing about Black Clover is that I've actually read a little bit of it, but Waifu has mainly read the series. So we mainly just have a couple volumes sort of as a placeholder for the series. But nothing really much more than that at the time. But it is a really fun shonen action series if you want something that's a blast. We then have volumes 1, 2, and 3, as well as 12 and 24 of Bleach. These are super random, but they're volumes that I actually had from childhood. We have decided we plan to invest in the Bleach box sets at some point, just not yet. So we don't really know when we're going to do that. But we do have 1, 2, 3, and 12 and 24. And you got to have 24 because of the Grimjaw cover. But obviously had to have some Bleach on the shelf for some representation. And right next to Bleach, you'll see we have the one Burn the Witch volume that they published. It's the only one so far, but it is set sort of in the Bleach universe for those of you that don't know. But yeah, I think that we're going to get some more of that soon.
Spoiler?
Yeah, surprise. Next, we actually have our Chainsaw Man. Obviously, we have volumes 1 through 10 with 11 on the way. It's going to be coming soon after the filming of this video, but volumes 1 through 10 for now. We both read the entire series. We both love the series. Great series from Mr. Tatsuki Fujimoto, and as well as these beautiful ninjroids of Power and Denji to accompany them on the shelf. One of the best modern shonens. Next, we actually have volumes 1 through 15 of Dragon Ball Super, as well as the one-off Dragon Ball That Time I Got Reincarnated as Yamcha. Yes, it took me a minute. We found these all at Half Price Books, I believe, except for the Yamcha volume. Maybe I got on a movie trading company deal. This is Dragon Ball Super. I love the anime. Waifu hasn't gotten to it yet. She's mainly only read Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. But we're really excited to eventually read the manga as well. I really want to read the Toyotaro arc. So that's going to be good. Next, we have volumes 1 through 21 of Dr. Stone, as well as the Dr. Stone Byakuya reboot that goes with that series as well. The series is now finally completed in Japan. Volume 22 will be coming soon here in English. But yeah, so we have everything that's printed so far for the series, as well as this awesome Senku Pop-Up Parade. Definitely one of both of our favorites. Waifu's already read the end. I have not read the end of the series yet. I'm actually reading the physicals. I'm on volume 20, so I have 20 and 21 to read actually to catch up. So super cool modern shonen series. Next, we have a bit of an older shonen series called Ice Shield 21. It's actually a 2000 series drawn by the guy who draws the redo of One Punch Man. That's Yusuke Murata, and actually written by Riichiro Inagaki, the same author as Dr. Stone. It's a sports manga that follows, man, I'm forgetting his name right now. The main character, Sina Kobayakawa, who is super fast and joins the American football team. So, kind of a cool series. These are actually childhood volumes as well, except for this volume 2. I have a childhood volume 2, but it's super water damaged, pretty similarly to this volume 1. They got water damage when I was little, but I've just held on to them. My 3 and 4 are fine, I guess, but yeah, a little bit of water damage on those. Pretty cool older sports series. Then, just as sort of a placeholder almost, we have Gintama Volume 1. We don't know if we're going to get more, but we picked up Volume 1. It's just a very iconic comedy series, so gotta have a little bit of it. More childhood volumes. We have Hunter x Hunter Volume 1 and 2. You can tell from the old Viz logo there. These are old prints of Hunter x Hunter Volumes 1 and 2. Not any of the newer prints. This series is still very much in circulation. But yeah, just Volumes 1 and 2 for now. We might get the whole series. If they made a box set,
please,
then we'll definitely get it. So we'll see if that ever happens. But for now, we just haven't invested in trying to pick up all the singles. They kind of reprint kind of randomly anyway, so I don't know. Next, we have Jacko. Wow, I said that real weird. Jocko, the Galactic Patrol Man, which is a one-off volume from Viz. That is a series by Akira Toriyama himself. And this character does eventually appear in Dragon Ball Super. He's a super cool character, so we definitely had to pick that one up. Next, we have a single one-off JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Volume 12. That's actually another childhood volume of mine, something I had growing up. I still have on the shelf. So will I ever get 1 through 11 or 13 through 16? Probably not. But I like having that single Stardust Crusaders one-off that got printed a long time ago. Next, we have Jujutsu Kaisen Volumes 0 through 15. I want to show you guys the spines here. I'll move these two beautiful Nindroids out of the way, as well as this beautiful piece done by the waifu herself. So the waifu actually did the wood burning on that. And there it is, Jujutsu Kaisen's Volume 0 through 15. One of the best current shonen, and there's really not much that needs to be said about it. But one of the best, so definitely pick it up if you guys don't already. I'd be surprised if people don't already have it. Next, we have Kaguya-sama Love is War Volumes 1 and 2. Waifu and I have not started this or tried it yet. That we grabbed 1 and 2 to start it, but now it's all on the Shonen Jump app. So maybe,
I feel cheated.
Yeah, maybe we'll get to. It's crazy. We bought Volumes 1 and 2 and they reprinted, but turns out they were about to get put on the app. So kind of interesting. Next, we have Kaiju number 8, Volumes 1 and 2. Waifu and I both read this. We both love this series. Really cool new shonen. A lot of volumes to come, I'm sure, and it's honestly pretty great. So you guys should check that out if you want to start something new about an older fella who can turn into a kaiju, which is honestly a very cool premise. Next, we have Knights of Zodiacs Volume 1, 2, and 3. This is one of my favorite manga and anime series of all time, also known as Saint Seiya. It is incredible. Just a fantastic series. I only have 1, 2, and 3 because they're hard to get, the whole set. And I was able to get these for a really good price from a buddy of mine who found them. So really happy to at least have 3 volumes in the collection. And yeah, very awesome shonen series. Next, we have Naruto Volumes 1, 2, 31, and 32. And I thought these were the beginning of Shippuden, but they're actually not, which makes it even more awkward, those 2 volumes. I'm not sure what I was thinking as a kid, but those are just the 4 volumes I got when I was a kid, and I've never let go of them. So I just have them from childhood. Will we get the Naruto box sets? Maybe one day. So we'll see. But still pretty cool. Next is my One Piece gold foil collection from my childhood as well. So you'll see there that we have volumes 1 through 18, as well as volume 21 of the gold foils. We're missing 19, 20, as well as 22 and 23. So if anyone ever finds those in the gold foils, please let me know. I am interested in purchasing them, especially if they're in pretty good condition. But yeah, I actually collected these when I was a kid and have kept them ever since. So these are an old print of One Piece that has sort of a gold foiling to them. It's one of our favorite series of all time. Obviously, we're both caught up on the manga. We both watched the anime, and we even have these really cool 2 figures here that we got very recently, actually in Austin, Texas, at one of our most recent videos. So you can see there we still have some of the leftover stuff on the shelf in front of it. And also volume 99 because I want to get the connected image. So I'm going to get 99, 100, and 101. So gotta have it. Next, we have One Punch Man, and we actually have this all the way through. I'll show the rest of it when I get down to the other shelf. But we have it, it's 1 through 23. I'm currently trying to replace these last 2 volumes that have the old logo for Shonen Jump so that they all have the updated logo. But One Punch Man, really great series. Haven't read the manga, only watched the anime. We both like the anime though. Okay, time for the next shelf. Alright, continuing the Shonen Jump section. Like I said, here's 18 through 23 of One Punch Man. And then we get right into our complete Platinum End collection. So we have volumes 1 through 14 of Platinum End. This is the follow-up series to Death Note and Bakuman by author-artists Kambo, Sugumi Oba, and Takeshi Obata. Waifu and I both read it. We like it enough that we're not going to sell the collection, but it's definitely the weakest of their 3 works. That's all I'll say. So if you want a death game that's done okay, this one's fine. That's what I'll say.
The art's really good, though.
The art's gorgeous. Incredible artwork all the way through, but gorgeous. We do have 1 volume of Sakamoto Days. This is all that's out so far in the U.S. This is an awesome new shonen series that both of us are really excited about. So I have not read it yet, but Waifu's read a chunk.
A good amount. I'm like maybe 2 months behind on it, but
yes,
you know, things happen.
Right. Next, we have my Shaman King singles collection. So it actually drips over just a little bit, which is almost complete. I'm only missing volumes 21 through 24, as well as volume 26, and then volume 31 and 32 to have the complete single set. This is sort of one of my holy grail type sets. I have loved Shaman King since I was little. Recently read the entire series back. Well, recently, it's actually been almost a year since I read it back. And it's just one of those manga that just means a lot to me. So if you're a fan of shonen, you like that early 2000s aesthetic, and you want a character that's a little bit different when it comes to an MC in a shonen series, I think Shaman King is kind of the perfect series to try. Obviously, you can try the Kodansha omnibuses if you don't want to go for the singles. These are a little pricier now. Well, the early volumes aren't too bad. It's really when you start to get up here that you start to get some pricier volumes. But beside the point, definitely read Shaman King. That's one of my one caveats. Waifu and I both read it all the way through and watched most of the new anime. We watched like half the new anime, so probably get to the rest of it soon. We also have Volume 1 of Slam Dunk. Yep, just Volume 1. Iconic basketball series, considered probably one of the best manga of all time. We plan to get more. I've read this volume, and that's all I've read. So we'll get to it eventually. That's my whole goal with Slam Dunk. It is reprinting, I believe, this year. At least parts of it are. So we definitely might collect more this year throughout 2022. So, all right, Waifu, what about this one?
This one, we've got Spy Family. Spy X Family? I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
I did that on purpose. Yeah. I did it on purpose. Please don't hate me. Spy Family has been going on for about 2 years at this point as a manga, and recently, I'm sure very aware if you keep up to date with this type of stuff, it is now an anime, and the anime is so good. But yeah, definitely another favorite series between the two of us. We both really enjoy this series a lot. It's like an action comedy, and like it says in the name, a spy drama. Yes. So definitely recommend it for people that kind of like some of that slice of life, but just those hints of action. Yor is mommy plus. Anya's super cute. Lloyd is number one daddy, husbando. I'll stop. Let's move on.
Moving on. So great series for beginners for sure. Spy Family. Next, we have Strawberry 100%, which is actually by one of my favorite shonen rom-com authors, Mizuki Kawashita, who went on to write Hatsukoi Limited, which is like my favorite shonen rom-com of all time. Never been published in English, though. I wanted to complete this set, but I'm still missing a couple, and the U.S. actually canceled this publication, so the whole series is not available in English, but we do have a selection here. So we have Volume 1, 3, 5, and then we have 6 through 11, and then we're missing 12, and then we have Volume 13. So kind of just a selected couple. I think I'm only missing 4. I want to say I'm missing 12, 14, as well as 2 and 4. I think that's all that I'm missing, and then that'll be a complete set. I believe. There might be 15. I want to say 14 is the last one. So, great shonen rom-com, a little older. There's some outdated concepts in it that might throw you off if you ever do read it. All right, so next we have Twin Star Exorcist. This is, I know, a very coveted set, actually, as of recent. But the problem is Waifu and I have actually not started reading this one yet. So we do have volumes 1 through 15 of this series. Picked them all up at half-price books for half off cover price, so we kind of couldn't leave that behind. We plan to get to it, so we apologize to Twin Star Exorcist fans. Promise you, we plan to get to it, and that's why we picked it up. So we're excited to eventually read it. Next, we do have Ultimo Volume 1, 2, and 3. If you have any of Ultimo past Volume 3 and you want to sell it to me, please do. I'm a big Hiroyuki Takei fan, and I want to have the complete set, but I know that these get a little pricey. So if you have Ultimo volumes, definitely sell them to me. But I really like this series. It's a very cool older series that I read when I was young. So nostalgia. Next, we have Undead Unluck Volumes 1 through 6, and 7 is on the way or coming. So we've stayed up to date with this one ever since it released. And yeah, I'm just reading the physicals, so I'm not reading the digital version at all. I'm actually just reading the physicals as they come out. So I'm excited to read Volume 7. I actually enjoy this series. I think it's a lot of fun for a modern shonen. I think it's a lot of fun. So next, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and we do have the complete set, Volumes 1 through 9. I mainly only got GX of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series because I had, I think, Volume 1 and 2 just sitting around from childhood. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just get the rest of it because GX was kind of my favorite growing up. So I went ahead and got it, and that's why I got it. This is the season where they are in a duelist academy where they play card games at school.
Yu-Gi-Oh! And card games? No way. Next
is part of my Yu Hakusho set, another series that's kind of one of my favorites of all time. And we unfortunately don't have it all. We have 1 through 7. We're missing 8 and 10 right there, so we do have Volume 9. Then we have 11 through 16. We're missing 17 through 19, right? 17, 18, 19. Yeah, so we're missing 5 volumes still. I know they're set to reprint. I'm just waiting. Honestly, like, I just don't want to overpay for them, so I'm just waiting. But definitely one of my favorite shonen mangas of all time, but also just one of my favorite manga of all time. And our last series in our Shonen Jump set or collection is Kubo's Zombie Powder. This is the first series he did before Bleach. I've had this ever since I was young because I was a big Kubo fan growing up. And yeah, it's I don't want to use the word obscure because I think most people know it because of Bleach. But it's still maybe one that's not really talked about a lot. But it is a cool series. It had some interesting aspects. Obviously got canned back in the day. And that's how we ended up with Bleach. So that is all of the weekly Shonen Jump series that we have in our collection. We're now moving on to the Shonen Sunday part of our collection. So this is all of our Shonen Sunday series. So first one on the shelf, one of my new favorite manga of all time. This is going to easily be in my top 10, I think, without question. I have fallen in love with the series Call of the Night. It is a series about a young man who sort of visits with a vampire and sort of learns more about her, but he also learns that if he can't fall in love with her within a year, then he is most likely going to die. So I really like the concept. It's very much like slice of life romance, but in a different perspective. And I think that's what sold me on it, because I wanted something like that, and I wanted something that was a new take on it with some supernatural elements, and this fed that desire. I've really enjoyed this series. I can't wait for Volume 8.
Next, we have Cross Game, which is a series I picked up. Another older Shonen Sunday title, and it's kind of like a sports romance series, but I haven't read it yet. I definitely plan to. It's definitely going to be a challenge to get the rest of it. As you can see, we only have 1, 2, and 4, and I think it goes through at least 10 in these kind of omnibus editions. So we're going to be on the lookout for that, but it definitely looked like a lot of fun, kind of gave me those Maison Ikoku, Rumiko Takahashi vibes. I think I've said that before in another video, so sorry if I repeat myself. And right after that, we have Freyrin Beyond Journey's End. So we both have read the first one about, I don't know, recently. So that's something that I think we're going to talk about a little bit more whenever we get around to doing a second episode of our Manga Musings podcast. But if you like high fantasy and kind of slice of life type of stories, I think you would enjoy this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4's on the way currently. And Jerry, talk about this next one because I don't know anything about it.
Next, we have Hidden Closer, another Shonen Sunday series. This is one of the earlier series by Haru Aso, the eventual author of Alison Borderland and Zom 100, which are series that I was really excited for. We do have the full set, 1 through 7 of Hidden Closer. I picked these all up for retail from a local comic shop. Haven't been able to read it yet. I know it's very much standard shonen fare. So if you want something like that, go for it. But I have heard it's a little generic. I plan to read it all in one go since I bought all 7 of them, but just haven't gotten the chance to yet. And it's on one of my bucket list reads, so I'm excited to get into that one because I really like Zom and I really liked Alice, but I understand this is his first work, so might be a little more underbaked. Alright, so here's the rest of those Hidden Closer volumes, the 4 through 7 part. They were down here on another shelf.
Next we have Komi Can't Communicate 1 through 18. One of my favorite stories about getting the series together is that the 6th volume went out of print at one point, and it took months for it to come back into print. So we're always just making jokes about, well, no Komi 6 anymore. So I've read up through 12 of this, and you might know that the anime has come out too, which we watched a little bit of, but it's definitely starting to get a little old, a little repetitive. I'm gonna finish out what we have just for posterity, but we'll see if I keep collecting it after the fact, and it's still ongoing in Japan, and the US is just gonna keep printing it, but it's already really long, so I don't know if I'm ready to dedicate the time and money into Komi anymore.
Next, we have Maggie, volumes 1 through 4. This was just a half-price books pickup. Don't know if I'll collect any more of it. Older Shonen Sunday title. We did not like Orient, which is by the same author. Don't know if we're going to love this one either, but just picked it up for it was just a good price.
Next up is Mao, which is the most recent series from Rumiko Takahashi. If you don't know who she is, where have you been? She wrote Inuyasha, she wrote Rama 1/2, she wrote Maison Ikoku. 5 is on the way, but right now we have 1 through 4. I've read all of these, and it's really enjoyable. It's pretty classic Takahashi, where there's lots of good action, there's lots of good supernatural elements. I was worried it was going to be too much like Inuyasha, but it really isn't. I feel like the story is pretty original, and she goes back to kind of like, you know, older Japan, like 1800s Japan, but so it's similar to Inuyasha in that way, where there's like a girl goes through a portal and gets put to the past, but you know, it's definitely different enough where I still enjoy it. And then right by it is another Takahashi series called Renee, and you probably saw that I picked this up in Austin. It's just a volume 1 that I found at half price when we were down there, so why the hell not? Might as well pick it up. I'm probably going to get the rest of it at some point eventually, but it is like 44 volumes, so that's going to be a lot.
Yep. Next, we have Zatch Bell Volumes 1, 4, and 5. That's all we have from this series. One of my favorite series, probably of all time, so I do plan to complete this set. Just don't know what speed I'm going to get it at, if that makes any sense. So that concludes the Shonen Sunday section, I believe. We do have these 2 Viz volumes right here, Deadman Wonderland. I don't remember what this series published in originally in Japan, but Viz printed it here after Tokyo Pop's kind of failed print of it. We just have 1 and 2. We're both fans of the series. Wait, did you watch the anime?
I actually haven't watched or read it, so
I'm the only fan of the series.
Don't misrepresent me.
I'm the only fan of the series. I've seen the whole anime, really like the show. Would like to read the manga's ending at some point, so I think I will get the rest of that, but just picked up 1 and 2 for now.
So these next couple are some series that I've been collecting.
And we are officially in the Shoujo Beat section of our collection.
We are in the Shoujo Beat, which is actually pretty small. It's only a couple series. Kami-sama Kiss Volume 1 has gotten some reprints. You might have seen it in Barnes. So I know it's a pretty popular shoujo, and it's something I wanted to give a try. Obviously, don't know if I can manage to put together the whole series at this point. You know, it's definitely all pretty much out of print. So we'll see, but it definitely looked enjoyable. Next to it is My Love Story, which actually we both watched the anime together and really enjoyed it.
Probably my favorite shoujo of all time.
Yeah. So enjoyable, so cute, just so wholesome. Love it. Found volume 1 at a half price, so, you know, again, why the hell not? Gotta grab it. But we probably won't finish out the series.
Yeah.
It's more of just like...
We've been slow playing it. If
If
we want to get it, we'll get it, but we don't know yet.
Yeah, might as well just get the first one for half price. Otamen is the next one. Another half price find that I found in Austin. Another shoujo that I've been interested in that looked kind of cool to me, so I picked that up. And then next, the mother of all shoujo collections and manga, Ouran High School Host Club. If you haven't ever heard of this, again, where have you been? I feel like this was a series that was really significant when people our age were in middle school or maybe even late elementary school. It's just one of those things that one of those anime especially that came over pretty early to the United States and became really popular, especially among young ladies. So we finished out that collection finally. Some of it was from half price, some of it we just had to kind of scrap together from Barnes. Yes, we know we could have gotten the box set eventually. Oh well, I think we
bought them all individually.
We got enough deals on them, I think, for it to be okay, so
yeah.
I don't feel too bad about it. And then next up is the Prince Freya series. The 6th one just came out. Seems to be like Viz is kind of slow playing this a little bit, and it's hard to find information online about how long the series actually is right now in Japan. So I don't know how many volumes to expect out of this, but it's a fun, enjoyable action shoujo series. So I definitely recommend it if you like stuff like just from what I've heard, like Snow White with the red hair, that kind of thing. And then last, the Shortcake Cake Volume 1, another restock that I was just kind of like, might as well get it before it runs out again, because you couldn't find it for the last couple months. But yeah, also another series that I had heard good things about.
Yep, up next we've got our only Viz Kids manga, actually, which is Legend of Zelda, the 1-volume Majora's Mask, and the 2-volume Part 1, Part 2 of Ocarina of Time. Those are my personal 2 favorite Zelda games, so I have had the manga, and I've just kept it. I know there are really cool collector's editions of these now, but I have just kept the singles because I've had them for a long time, so kept those. Next to that, we have the 3 different exclusive versions of Attack on Titan, so I'll make sure to show these covers to you all Very cool final volume covers. We're big fans of the anime series, not as big of fans of the manga, but as collectors, we wanted to at least have the 3 collectible final volumes to just kind of commemorate the series. I don't know if we'll ever buy all of Attack on Titan, and if we do, I've actually kind of really enjoyed the new 3-in-1 print that they've been doing, so I've been kind of thinking about that one, but I think that I might just stick to just having these 3 conclusive volumes. Next, we have Fire Force Volume 1. I don't know if I'm going to get more of that. I love Soul Eater, but I don't know yet. I just grabbed that because I thought I wanted to collect it, but we'll see. And then we have Heroic Legend of Arslan Volume 1, which is the art done by Hiromu Arakawa, the artist and author of Full Metal Alchemist. Definitely going to try this series. We grabbed that one at a half price as well, and don't know if we'll buy more yet.
Next is Kiss Him, Not Me. Again, found this all in Austin. I know there's like 10 plus of this, I think. I'm not quite sure. But it looked fun. It looked enjoyable. Next to that, also picked up in Austin the first volume of Livingstone. Another cool looking manga that we've actually been eyeing for a little bit. So it was cool to find it for half price.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of Volume 1s kind of randomly thrown in here. They're often series that we have picked up just because we want to try, and we just haven't bought any more yet because we either haven't read it yet or we did read it and we just haven't decided if we want to get into it deeper, which is exactly what Marduk Scramble is, which is a series by the same author of A Silent Voice, Into Your Eternity. I believe they didn't write the story, but they did the artwork. So I was really interested in this series, found it at half price also, grabbed Volume 1, haven't decided if I want to get the rest. I think it's pretty short, though. Next, we have Origami 1 through 5. Waifu and I both read the start of the series. It's actually pretty fun. It's pretty good. If you want to hear more, go listen to our Manga Musings episode 1 that we did here on the channel. We talked a little more in depth about Origami, but it is a cool shonen series. Next, we have Sankareya Volume 1, another one that I just grabbed Volume 1 because I wanted to try. It is a zombie rom-com? Something along those lines? I don't know if I'm going to like it. This is one that could maybe leave the collection, potentially, if I end up not liking it.
Kind of the same thing with Say I Love You. It seemed like kind of like a shoujo romance type of thing, but I'm definitely picky about that kind of stuff. It's gotta hit right for me with romance type of stuff. So I found these all at, it was actually a movie trading company, but they were all half off or under at the time, and we are missing Volume 4 in there. So I'll read the first 3 or so if I like it, and fill in the blanks later. But definitely interested to try it. The Wolf Boy is mine, also an Austin half price find. Another just kind of like BL type of romance that looked interesting to me, so I wanted to try that out and grab it.
And then we have Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. This is a series that I've been wanting to try for a while. Found Volume 1. I'm going to try it. Don't know if I'm going to buy any more. It is a bit of an ecchi romance type show, school romance, but there's like some supernatural elements. I'm going to try it. I did watch a little bit of the anime to get myself prepped for it. I think I'm going to like it, but it is a lot of volumes, and it's weird because it becomes omnibuses in the end. Whatever. We just have 1 volume of it, though. And then our last Kodansha volume over here is actually the Your Lie in April Loot Crate exclusive Volume 1. This is another series we both know that we need to watch and or read, and that's why we bought Volume 1.
Yeah, I definitely prefer to watch it, I think, just because it has the music and stuff. And I've heard it makes you cry like a baby, so that'll be fun to see Jerry cry like a baby when we watch it. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to find the Loot Crate exclusive, if I can even get it out, just to show off that cover really quick. And you can find these around sometimes. It seems like I've seen a couple here and there.
Okay, and that actually concludes our Kodansha Comics singles, small singles section that we have here. So we separated it by small and then taller volumes as well. So the next little section that I have here is miscellaneous publishers. So you'll see here there's a couple different publishers on this next section, which it includes, I think this one's ADV, and then we've got some CMX and some Del Rey in here. So the first of that is my Cromartie High School Volume 1 and Volume 11, so just 2 volumes of that series. I want to get the whole set. It is a very funny delinquent manga that I liked a lot when I was younger, and I want to get the complete set because it's very funny to me. Same thing with Crown Shinchan. We just have Volume 1 of the CMX print. This series was printed 3 different times by 3 different publishers, one by One Piece Books, one by CMX, and then one by another publisher that always escapes me for some reason. But yeah, I don't know which version I'm going to get. I started with the CMX versions. It's a very funny series, so I definitely would like to get more. Then we also picked up Air Gear Volume 1 by Oh Great, another series very important to me from my childhood, so I do like that series. Waifu wants to try it, so that's why we got Volume 1. We found it for half price as well. And then we have Fairy Tail Volumes 1 and 2. I should probably burn these or get rid of them, but I haven't because they are the old Del Rey prints of this series. And I thought that was pretty cool. I got these when I was really young. I remember reading them and not liking them, and then watching the anime and not liking it. And I've just kept these as sort of a testament to that. So, not sure how long those are going to stay, but I do have them. Then I have Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei Volumes 1, 2, and 4. This is a series I watched a little bit of when I was younger. I want to give the manga a shot. I know that this did not finish printing physically in the US, but I do believe the series has concluded in Japan. So if I do end up liking it, I'll either buy more or read more online. Next is Yozakura Quartet, which I've read now. I'm obviously not caught up on it. It actually is still running in Japan, but we only got 5 volumes printed here in the US by Del Rey. And it's a weird shonen. Honestly, the dialogue is almost so confusing. It's very difficult to read because of that. Maybe go for the newer anime series. I've heard it's actually a much better version. So if you want to check this one out. But it's about some girls that like run a town together. It's like supernatural happenings. I love supernatural stuff, so that's why I picked it up. Don't know if it'll stay in the collection or if I'll get 3 and 4 to even complete it. I haven't decided yet. Next, we have my Battle Vixen set. This is one of my favorite like classic ecchi manga, and we're getting into our Tokyo Pop section here. I love this series because it's sort of like one of those series that first introduced me to ecchi manga, ecchi martial arts manga. I love that about it. I'm almost done with what was printed in the US, which ended in volume 15, so I just need 10 through 14, and I have some of these on the way. So I almost have a complete set, but as you can see here, I have 1 through 9 and volume 15 on the shelf here. Yeah, and there's more in the Japanese. Unfortunately, they didn't finish printing it in English either. I hate it, but I buy canceled series more than I'd like to. But it's just such a classic martial arts ecchi series. I had to have it. Next we have Beat X by the same author as Saint Seiya, which is my, like I said earlier, when we saw Knights of the Zodiac, another, just one of my favorite authors. I picked these up all for, I think, $1 off retail, which was awesome. And this set goes for a little bit more depending on what volumes you're looking for. I think 12 through 15 are going to be the toughies to get. But right now we have 2, 3, and 4, 6, 7, 8, and 11. So a couple volumes there of Beat X. It is I've watched the anime. It's, there's like sci-fi shonen action, and it's...
A robot horse?
Yeah, there's like robots. Yeah, we'll move on. Next we have 3 miscellaneous volumes of Great Teacher Onizuka, a classic series. Obviously one that I would like to get more into, because I did watch bits of it when I was a kid and know a lot about the series, but I would like to get more into it. But we just have these 3 random ones because it's all we've been able to find for below retail price. So if I can get more for below retail, then I'll get more for below retail. So we'll see how that works out. And this is the one that I'm actually a little bit more invested in trying to complete, which is GTO The Early Years, or Shonen Junagumi. I have volumes 1 through 5 here of the Tokyo Pop print. I got all these for a really good price. We'll see if I can get 6 through 15 for a good price as well. This is the original series that GTO is then the sequel to. Think of it like GTO's like GTO Shippuden or whatever, But it's a time skip, and then it's that. So, yes, excited to read this. It's a Delinquent series, by the way. And then Planetess by the author of Vinland Saga, Makoto Yukimura. One of my favorite manga, maybe of all time as well. It's definitely up in the top 10 range for me. It's really great. It's only 5 volumes in the singles, or 2 omnibus volumes, and it's awesome. It's a space series. I've heard people describe it as like a space or slice of life. I wouldn't exactly put it that way. It's a bit more of a human exploration type manga, and it uses space as a backdrop for that, which I always love when series do that. Okay, next shelf. Okay, so here's that final volume of Planetess. Like I said, it was on this shelf. Next we have Scryed or Scryed. I have volumes 1 through 4 of the Tokyo Pop print. I really like the anime of this series growing up. Decided to go ahead and grab the manga as well. I think they have maybe divergent storylines. Someone can tell me that, but I'm going to read the manga as soon as I get volume 5.
Kageki Shoujo, theater, musicals, young ladies, shoujo, woohoo!
And this is the complete collection up now with whatever's coming later.
Yes, definitely plan to keep collecting it though.
5 single volumes and the original series compiled into one. I think it's a 2 or 3 in 1.
And then Our Dreams at Dusk, another kind of restock that I just had to nab before it disappeared again. The LGBTQ themes seems really awesome. Have only heard good things about it. Yes. Orange is next, kind of another older series that got really popular. So definitely wanted to pick up the complete collections. I plan to read it pretty soon. But that's the entire series, 1, 2, and future. So excited to try that.
Next is Alison Borderland, just volume 1. I think we both read this already. Mm-hmm. Super excited for more. It is a death game with a little bit of a twist. but just excited to read more because it has quite a few volumes, but it's printing very slowly in the U.S. Haven't decided if we want to just try to read it online or something, but we'll see. Next we have Beastars, just Volume 1. Don't really want to get into that too much. We both love the anime. We have Volume 1 more as a throwaway volume to just have as a filler place for a series we like. So, can't decide if we want more yet, though. Black Lagoon, Volumes 1 through 2. Same deal here. I'm a big fan of the anime. Waifu wants to read the manga, so we picked up 1 and 2. She hasn't done it yet, so we haven't bought any more.
Yeah.
Once she does read it, we may get more if she ends up liking it. I really love the anime of Black Lagoon, though. If you have seen the anime, you should go and see it if you haven't seen it. Next, we have one of my favorite manga of all time. Easily in my top 10. I would suggest this to any human being on the planet. This is Volumes 1 through 10 of Detroit Metal City, the complete collection. It is just the funniest manga you will ever read. It is about a young man who wants to join a band, and he ends up in a death metal band. And he's like this sweet, kind guy from the countryside, and he ends up as the lead singer and frontman of a death metal band. It's hilarious, and everyone should try it. And the anime is great, and the live-action movie is also great. I'm a huge fan of Detroit Metal City.
Next up is Dorohedoro 1 through 3. As you know, I have been actively reading their other series, Die Dark, and we watched a little bit of the anime for Dorohedoro, so we have promised ourselves that we can't buy any more until we read these 3, because there are 23 volumes total, so we probably plan to collect it eventually, but for now we have put that on a pause.
Yep. Next we have Firefighter Daigo of Fire Company M, just the one special edition volume that they made, Viz Select style. The rest of the series is actually printed at the small size, if anyone ever wants to pick it up. I really enjoyed Volume 1. It's a very standard shonen, but it uses firefighting as sort of the base for it, which is obviously a cool concept. It's not like Fire Force, it is an actual firefighter manga.
Next up, we have Fire Punch, which is by the same mangaka as Chainsaw Man. Only 8 volumes, but a very, very interesting story. We both read it pretty recently, at least in the last year. Lots of supernatural stuff, which I think you would probably expect when you hear Chainsaw Man, but very deep meanings about the environment and about society and all that good stuff. And then next, we have one of my favorite series, Golden Kamuy. It's so good. It's still coming out, but it actually literally just ended in Japan this last weekend, which makes me so sad, but I'm not spoiling myself on anything. I'm going to just read it as it comes out. Currently, there's 25 volumes out, waiting on 26, Tanigaki for Best Husbando.
Next, we have Ikigami. I picked this up just at the recommendation of HBL Manga, that is, if you guys know her. I bought 2 and 6, I think, at a half price. Found 1 and 5 for $1 off at Comic Book Shop. Yeah, I have actually ordered some more, so some more of this is on the way. It's only 10 volumes. I want to get the right numbers to read it, but it is sort of an interesting, almost, I want to compare it to Black Mirror almost, sort of a dark future sort of situation. So just an interesting one to have on the shelf and to start soon. Next, we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, just part 2. Don't get us wrong, we love JoJo's. We've seen every piece of the anime, but I thought that I would get my favorite part to just put on the shelf as sort of a display piece, and that is part 2, which I love, with our little Joseph there. And yeah, I just grabbed part 2, which is a wonderful series, and part 2 is definitely my favorite part of the series.
Next up, we have another Takahashi, actually 2 Takahashis, Maison Ikoku, which is kind of like a slice-of-life romance, and then Mermaid Saga, which goes back to more of her supernatural roots. But both are really great series. Speaking of HBO, I know she's been reading Maison Ikoku, so definitely recommend that highly. It's just super enjoyable, funny, but also heartwarming.
Okay, so next we have No Guns Life. Just volumes 1 through 3. I've read volume 1. It is cool. I bought 2 and 3 so I could read the rest. Haven't got to it yet. It's about a guy. He's got a gun for a head. It's sci-fi, noir, action. It's pretty tight. But I don't know if I'm going to buy the rest. I think it's completed at 14 volumes. Something along those lines, but they're not all out in the US yet. I need to read more before I buy more. That's my rule. So we shall see. Next, I picked a set up from Facebook Marketplace for a really good price. And I now almost have 1 through 10. It's 19 volumes complete. It is a I believe it's a reverse harem set in old times in Japan. So I personally am interested in this series. I know it's, I believe, a josei series, so maybe not intended. I'm not the intended audience, but I am the one who really wants to read this. Something about the writing and style of it really drew me to it. So I'm excited to have that series and potentially complete it in the future.
And then there's Ran in the Grey World. So I actually really love the art of Aki Airi. I think his art is amazing. I think where he lacks is some of the storytelling elements. But, you know, I read the first one and wasn't sure if I was going to get more, but then I saw 2 and 3 for half price. So I said, why not? Just might as well try to continue it and give it a second chance.
Next up, we have Record of Ragnarok 1 and 2. We both love this series from the anime. I've read the manga already, the ones that we have here. I haven't read 2 yet. I read 1. But we just picked up 2 very recently, and we will definitely be picking up more. It's a battle between humans and gods. It's literally just a big fight tournament.
Yeah.
Next up, we picked this up at Half Price Books. Saturn Apartments, Volumes 2 through 7. We need to grab Volume 1 so we can actually read this series, which is kind of sad. But we found 2 through 7 and could not pass it up for half off cover price. I know a bit about it, and I think that's what drew me to it. It has a very unique style, very unique aesthetic to it. It's kind of got that future sci-fi, but like mixed with modern. It's cool. So we're excited to read that. Next, we just have Terraformars Volume 1. This is another half price, 1 volume, try it situation. I am not a fan of something in this series that I just won't talk about too much here, but I want to at least give it a shot because I do love sci-fi stuff and I love wacky sci-fi stuff, which I know it is.
Speaking of wacky, The Way of the House Husband is definitely a wacky series. You know, it's definitely been enjoyable, but kind of like how I'm feeling about Komi, it does start to get repetitive eventually. So, you know, definitely on the edge about whether I'm going to still keep collecting this or not. I mean, when I do read it, I definitely get a lot of joy out of it because it is still funny. And, you know, I just can't help but think of Kenjiro Suda when I read it. You know, I just hear his voice when I'm reading it. Which, if you don't know, he plays that character Tatsu in the actual anime on Netflix.
And he's pretty much the best Japanese voice actor of all time.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, just a little bit. Next, we have Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead, series we both started after having not read Hiding Closer or Alison Borderland. We actually started with Zom 100, and I think both of us really enjoyed it. Yeah. So we've kept up with it. The singles being printed here in the U.S., we have 6 on the way, so 1 through 5 of the singles, and it's fun. It's a fun seinen zombie comedy, so if you want something like that, you should definitely still try it, and we've enjoyed it so far. Okay, so that last shelf was our Viz Signature collection. We're now getting into our Kodansha Tall volumes. So
we're going to start out with A Sign of Affection, which is a romance, involves sign language. Definitely really love this series. It's a series that Laura, I don't even know her new name. Laura loves manga. Sorry, Laura, I love you. But you put me on this series, and it's a really great romance. And like I said earlier, I'm pretty picky about that kind of stuff. Right next to it, we have Blue Period, which also just had an anime this last year. We both loved the anime so much. It was making us cry all the time. But I love the manga too. The manga is just so amazing. And if you didn't know, the anime actually goes through these 6 volumes, so if you are looking to read past that, you know, that's where you'll need to pick up on if you can't wait for the next part of the anime. And then another series that I picked up, Boys Run the Riot. I definitely enjoyed it at first. I do feel like it kind of fell flat towards the end, but it's still an enjoyable series, and it's about trans identity and just some guys just trying to make it as fashion creators. So definitely a cool perspective to see that. And then another one I picked up, Descending Stories. It's a series that we both have heard good things about it. We just picked up one because it was half off. Frau Faust, same thing. I picked up the first one because it was half off. Read it, really enjoyed it, so I picked up 2 through 5, but I still need to read it and finish that out.
So next we got Galacm, volumes 1 through 6 complete. This is a series about buff guys fighting in politics. Very strange. If you want something super weird off the wall and you kind of like this idea of like political figures fight. It's weird, but you should check it out if that's your vibe. Next, we got Inuyashiki 1 through 3 by Hiria Oku, who I'm a big fan of all their other works. Waifu's actually only seen Inuyashiki, so will we get the whole set? Maybe. We picked these up because they were half price. I would like to get the complete set because I do like the author a lot and want to complete all of their series, honestly, at some point. So that would be one that we'll eventually have to get the other ones, which I think it's like 4 through 10.
Yep. Next up, we have Night of the Ice. Another Austin pickup. I kind of went wild in Austin, honestly, guys. Again, it just kind of got some of those Yuri on Ice vibes, so I definitely wanted to try it because of that.
Land of the Lustrous, volumes 1 through 5, a very, very popular series. I have read a bit, and I like it. I don't know if I will buy the rest just yet, but I would like to, I think, because it is quite good. So we shall see. It's about a gym world, which obviously is a little reminiscent. We're both big fans of Steven Universe, but it's very different, a lot darker, different perspective on it for sure.
And then another one of those volume ones, Living Room Matsunaga-san. Again, just kind of a series I'd heard a little bit about, that it was pretty good, so I just picked it up for half off at Surprise, Austin.
And then we've got the complete set of Neko Gahara. This is a series about a cat samurai that was created by Hiroyuki Takei. And so I decided to pick up the complete series because I'm a big fan of his. We've also got Neo Parasite M. This was a short story collection. I only bought it because the author of Prison School has one of the short stories in this, so I wanted to have all of Prison School's authors' completed works in print. So I grabbed that one so that I could have that one.
And then random volume 1 of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Definitely going to try it, but we've heard that the anime is pretty good too, so, we'll probably try both. And then we got Tokyo Tarareba Girls, which is by probably one of my favorite mangakas, Aiko Higashimura. Akiko. I was trying to read it sideways. Really amazing. I would classify it more as like a josei, I think.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is a josei.
I think it is too. So, about 3 older ladies just trying to figure out like their love lives and their careers and, just their lives in general. And as I'm approaching my 30s, it definitely resonated a lot with me.
Next up, we have The Witch of the Beast, volumes 1 through 6. This is a really cool, dark fantasy. I believe it's a seinen manga. So if you want that, you need to try this series. Everyone who has read it likes it. That's the way it is. If you read it, you often like it. It's just a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people are reading it. So give it a shot if you want something that's like dark fantasy. I think it's a really cool concept.
And then another one of my favorite series, Rich Hat Atelier. I think an anime got announced, right?
I don't remember if it was announced or leaked.
Was it? I can't remember. Like but there's that spin-off that got announced too about like, some sort of like Witch Hat Kitchen or something. Really amazing, beautiful art. Couldn't recommend it more. It's just coming out really slow, so just be aware of that.
Next up, Wotakoi.
Wotakoi.
We both like the anime. We finally picked up the manga, and as you can see, Kodansha really ruined this print. The last volume was just terribly short. Not in line. We have 1 volume left to collect, and there's a lot of exclusive covers, so we'll see how that goes. But it's about older people that work together, and they are
and they're weebs.
Yeah, and they like nerdy stuff.
Okay, so a lot of these next ones are mine, so here we go. Bear with me while I talk. So, another Austin random volume 1, BL Metamorphosis. Again, heard great things about it, so wanted to try it out. Another series by one of my favorite josei authors, Higashimura. Blank Canvas, My So-Called Artist Journey. If you like Blue Period, you're going to love this too. This series, I don't really cry at series that much, but this series made me cry, guys. So I really, really love it. Probably one of my top series for sure. And it's only 5 volumes. Next to it is Claudine. It's a short story by the author of Rosa Versailles. I found it at half price and I was like, oh, Rosa Versailles offer. I will definitely pick that up. So pick that up. Still need to read it. Then there's Love on the Other Side, and you may be familiar with Girl from the Other Side, and that's a different series that we'll show you a little bit later on, but it's a short story collection by the same author, so I wanted to pick that up and try it out. That anime actually did get announced, Girl from the Other Side, so
yes, 100%.
Definitely be on the lookout for that in the future.
As well as collector's editions of the manga.
Yes, collector's editions are coming out of that. Okay, next, Made in the Abyss. Again, Her Good Things. Picked it up, half-price books. Manly Appetites. One isn't there right now because we need to haul it in another video. But it's such a cute...
It's on its way.
It's such a cute BL. I love it so much. I love it, love it, love it. It's adorable.
Next, we have My Brain is Different, Stories of ADHD and Other Developmental Disorders. As someone with ADHD, I picked it up because I was really curious what their stories are going to be like.
And then we have New Game, Volume 1, another one I've actually been wanting to try for a while now. I saw that there was an anime of it too, so I couldn't decide which I wanted to try first. But, you know, I feel like it's easier to start reading a manga than watching an anime. So definitely interested in that because I'm very interested in video games, as you probably know. Gamer Girl Energy. And then we have Rainbow in Black. I did actually get the chance to read this, and I picked it up for a pretty good, like, reduced price at Movie Trading Company. Super, super cute. I think there's 2 other volumes out of it right now. So I definitely want to pick those up eventually. Add that to the collection. And then Witches, the complete collection. I actually just read this the other day. Really, really cool stuff in there. Really cool art. Very interesting concepts about witches. And I feel like it kind of breaks the mold with how people tell stories about witches. So definitely recommend that. And I know it's newer, so just be on the lookout for that. You should be able to find it in like Barnes or Kino or anything.
And that concludes our section that is separated by alphabet. So we're now getting into more creator shelves / some just different offshoots we decided to put on their own shelves. So we're going to get into Full Metal Alchemist, which honestly, there's really not much to be said about this. It is everything up through, obviously 17 is now actually released. It's on its way. So this is 1 through 16 of the collector's editions, and it's one of the greatest shonen manga of all time.
Absolutely.
And all of you should read and watch Brotherhood. So,
yes.
If you haven't already, it's a really wonderful series, and we're just waiting 17, 18, and that's a complete set.
And then the Fushigi Yugi Vizbig. Jerry could probably actually talk about this more than me.
Probably my second favorite shoujo of all time. So right behind My Love Story, this is probably my second favorite shoujo. It is a bit of an action romance shonen isekai. And it's awesome, and I really want Waifu to read it.
I'm going to.
We grabbed volume 1 of the Vizbigs, and I think there's 6 of these to get the complete set, so we're missing a bit. I bought Levius because I love boxing, and it's a sci-fi boxing series. Have I decided to get EST yet? Not yet. I might. But for now, we just have the 1 hardcover edition that starts it. And then the complete set of the Death Note Black edition. We mentioned earlier, we like Oba and Obata a lot, so we had to get Death Note Black, which is probably... Death Note's their best series.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so there's Death Note. So this is kind of like just a little, like, it's not even like a creator shelf. It's just kind of a, like, some specifics collected editions shelf.
All right, we are on the next shelf. And as you can see here, my pride and joy, my Inuyasha Vizbig collection. I've got some more that we need to haul that's upstairs. Hush, hush. The unfortunate thing right now is 16 is out of print. It's so sad. So I think I have everything now except for 16. But I have been loving it, Inuyasha. Definitely, just as you can probably tell, I love Takahashi. So it's been so much fun collecting and reading this series.
Okay, so next we have the Shizuoshimi Creator Shelf. So Shizuoshimi is one of my favorite mangaka of all time, and yeah, I adore his work. So we have tried to collect all of his printed works in English. So we have volumes 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 of the singles of Flowers of Evil. We have the kind of like one-off printed works of Waltz and Miss Kusakabe that Dimpa did. We also have Blood on the Tracks, volume 1 through 8, as well as The Flowers of Evil, complete editions, volumes 1 through 4. Shino Can't Say Her Name. This is a one-off that was done by Dimpa as well. Happiness, volumes 1 through 10. And then Inside Mari, volumes 1 through 8. So this is all of his works, aside from, obviously, we don't have The Flowers of Evil, all of the completed ones. And there are some new works that actually are in an upcoming haul. So there will be some new stuff for the shelf, because something new from him was recently released in English. Ooh. And his newest series is also getting printed very soon, if it hasn't already released by the time you watch this. So there will be more for this shelf very soon, and it probably is going to have to expand off of one shelf. But this is Shizuoshimi so far. He makes wonderful works about growing up and coming of age, and Happiness is kind of about vampires to a degree. Blood on the Tracks is a bit about gaslighting to a degree. Flowers of Evil is just horny, unadulterated fun. And Inside Mari is a body switch story. So, and Shido Can't Say Her Name is an interesting one with some themes similar to maybe like Komi, but a little darker if you want to kind of get in that direction. So, lots of fun stuff on this shelf. If you're a fan of him, you'll definitely know what's going on here. But you should try it if it's something that might interest you. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one too, which is our Inyo Asano shelf. Big fan of Asano, mainly because of Goodnight Punpun. But we do have A Girl on the Shore, Volume 2 of What a Wonderful World. We will get Volume 1 if it ever reprints. I really hope it does. Solinen, the all-in-one. There is a epilogue that's very expensive and rare. We don't really plan to put money into that right now. Dead Demons, Dead Destructions, Volume 1 through 10. Very awesome series as well. I really like the main characters in this series. So, another great work from Asano. And one of his first to be getting a full anime, which was announced for later. I don't know if it's going to come out this year or next, but it was announced. So, that's super exciting. This is concluding, I think, with 12 volumes, if my brain remembers correctly. So, and then we have the complete collection of Goodnight Punpun, a series that both of us read. And we both liked quite a bit. I think maybe I liked it a little bit more. But, yeah, it's a very, very strong and powerful series with a lot of strong themes.
Content warning.
Yeah, content warning for sure. And then lastly, Downfall from, two more right there. And Niji Gahara Holograph, one-off series by Asano as well that were printed in English. So Downfall and Niji Gahara Holograph. And then you'll see here also on this shelf we have Dementia 21 Volume 1. I will say that the other one is on the way, is what I'll say. So Dementia 21 Volume 1, I really liked the concept of this one. It's one of those more horror type sort of mind F sort of series. And then we have a little bit of overflow of our Urasawa shelf, which is we have one volume of Master Keaton and the one-off Sneeze story collection from Naoki Urasawa. You'll see some more of the Urasawa shelf when we get down to it. But for now, for those two series, obviously for Master Keaton, we only have volume 1, and Sneeze is just a one-off series. All right, so this is the last shelf of the Billy bookcases, actually. At the bottom here, we obviously have volumes 1 through 10 of the Berserk Deluxe editions. This series means a lot to Waifu and I. We both have really loved reading it. It is just a really incredible piece of writing, but also one of the most gorgeously drawn manga that we've ever seen. Incredible shout out to Kentaro Miura, and rest in peace. Just a beautiful, beautiful manga. Next, we have Vagabond, or as Waifu generally calls it, Vagamid. I don't know if we're going to buy more. We have both not really bought into this series as of these Vizbigs here. And yeah, I don't know. We're feeling a bit skeptical about it so far. I know that it's considered one of those masterwork type seinens. I'm just not sure about it right now. So we have the first 4 of the Vizbig editions. Next, this is not a manga, so I won't really count it. But this is Hellboy in the Library Editions Volume 1. I'll probably get more of those at some point. So if you like Hellboy, I love Hellboy. Next up, we have Hellsing, Volume 1 through 3 in the complete editions. This is just one of those classic anime. It's darker. It's weird. It's not going to work for everyone. And yeah, that's all the completed manga series, though, there in the Master Editions. And then we also have the Eternal Editions of Sailor Moon. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There are 10 of these in total, plus Codename Sailor V. So, I don't know. We just haven't finished it just yet. We try to pick these up on a bit of a reduced price to get the whole set, so we're just missing a couple more, and we're probably going to leave it at that. It's just a classic shoujo series, and a series that has definitely defined a generation. Next, Soul Eater in the Perfect Editions. I've been buying these because I'd never read the manga, I'd only seen the anime, and I'm really enjoying the manga. To be honest with you, it's much better than I expected shonen-wise, and I am really happy to be reading it in these editions because they're gorgeous, and I think they've actually done a really good job with them. So if you want to read Soul Eater, I would definitely encourage you to buy these, but they're printing incredibly slowly for a completed series, and they're only 1.5 in ones. And yeah, so it's going to be a while before we get to the end if you want to stick with that version of the series. Next, we have Fist of the North Star Volumes 1 through 4 of the new hardback editions that Viz has been doing. This is a classic shonen series. Yes, it's shonen. I know it doesn't seem that way for those of you that maybe were not exposed to it. Shonen was different back in the days, y'all. But Fist of the North Star, really beautiful prints of these. I'm super excited to have that complete set when it's done. This is a series that definitely defined a generation of manga. And then we also have Dragon Ball in the Vizbigs. This is the complete original Dragon Ball series. So you're like, oh, you saw Dragon Ball Super, and now here's classic Dragon Ball. We might get Dragon Ball Z as well. I know that's a weird thing to be missing because we have Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super, but yeah, so that's what we have. Waifu and I both stand by that Dragon Ball is our favorite part of Dragon Ball as a series. So the OG Dragon Ball is really just fantastic. It's great and absolutely worth the read if you haven't. It is obviously a classic, but it does actually hold up pretty well, and I would encourage you to try it out. And this is a great edition to try it out in if you so choose. Next up is the rest of our Naoki Urasawa shelf. So you'll see here that we have volumes 1 and 2, as well as 4 through 16, as well as 19 through 22 of 20th Century Boys. We don't have any of 21st Century Boys, and we are missing a couple volumes in there. But this is the original singles, so pretty awesome. This is actually my current read right now, and I've really enjoyed it so far. It is a very impressive, very well done mystery series, and I'm really excited to get into the rest of it. This one leaves you hanging as you continue through these volumes. It's really awesome. Next, we recently completed the Monster Complete Editions from Viz. These look gorgeous, 9 volumes, and yeah, I'm excited to have that one on the shelf. As well as the complete series of Pluto. Both of these got pretty recent reprints. Pluto is a retelling of one of the most classic mangas of all time, which is Astro Boy. And it's a new take on that, and it's really awesome. So you should also check this one out if you haven't as well. And just know that Urasawa is definitely considered one of the modern masters of manga. Next, we're going to quickly cover this small shelf that Waifu and I also have in our living room. Okay, quick rehash on this one. This is actually Shaman King in the 3-in-1 omnibus editions that are being printed by Kodansha. We've just kind of put them on this shelf for now. We're not sure where they're going to end up on our shelves. But this is where they are for here. And we have the first 8 of these in the omnibuses. And they're going to go all the way to the true ending of the series, which the original singles did not do.
Next up, we have Rosa Versailles 1, 2, 3, and these what I like to call perfect editions printed by Udon. This is our mini Udon shelf because they're definitely a smaller publisher. And 4 and 5 are on the way. I'll just say that.
Next to Extravaganza, which is kind of an ecchi fantasy series. This character is really the only reason I bought this series, and it's cool. This is a complete set. Just these 3 volumes that were printed by Udon, so pretty awesome set to just have and try and read. Who knows if it'll stay in the collection forever.
Okay, so this next one is actually not Udon. I just remembered that. It's by, I don't even remember what it's called, June Manga. Mm-hmm. It's Ludwig the Second. It's a BL. It's BL. I don't know what else to say about it, but I found it at half price. Looked interesting. That's it. And then next we have Beauty and the Feast 1 and 2. Oh my gosh, it took way too long for 2 to come out. But, I mean, we're in the Square Enix section, and Square Enix just takes a really long time with their printing of their manga. So it's unfortunate. Same thing with High Score Girl. It's been done for a long time, but they still haven't finished printing it in the US. But we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. It's a cute series about video games and young love.
Next up, we have Vampire Hunter D, the manga version, published by DMP. And we just have those 3. I believe there's 5 total of these that were created before the mangaka had something come up. But yeah, I picked up the first 3 for a good deal. I found 4, but it was actually like very priced up. So I don't know what I'm going to do about 4 and 5, but maybe one day. And then next to it, you have Basilisk, which is another. This is actually printed by Del Rey. It was a shorter series. I want to say 5 volumes, but it's cool action. Not sure it's the best series of all time, but it is a cool one to have. And then next to it, we have An Invitation from a Crab. 1 volume. It's a collection there that Dimpa did. It's kind of those one-off sort of. It's an interesting collection of stories. So if you're interested in those sorts of things, you might want to grab that one. Then we've got a little bit of some Osamu Tezuka works here. Ayako in the complete edition, but it's the soft cover, not the hard cover. And then Blackjack Volume 1, 2, 3, and 5. This is a really tough set to complete past Volume 3. So I don't know what I'm going to do about it, but it is one of the seminal works by Mr. Osamu Tezuka. Then you've got the complete edition, or all 3 completed series volumes of Imperfect Girl. This is a series by Nisio Isin, which is mostly known for the Monogatari series. You've then got A School Frozen in Time, Volume 1. We just picked this up as another one of those Volume 1s that we want to try. There's only 4 of these, though, so if we like it, we'll definitely grab the other 3. You have Mysterious Girlfriend X Volumes 3 and 4. This is a nostalgia series for me. I'll just say there's more of this on the way. I read this when I was young. I might reread it but it is a little bit weird. It's about a girl who swaps spit with a young man, and they like share feelings and emotions through it. It's interesting. We also picked up Nichijou Volume 1 as one of those one-off Volume 1s that we grab. Haven't tried it yet. Very funny series is what I've heard.
Next up, we have Knights of Sidonia, which is a series that I have been interested in, and we've just managed to find all of these singles. We have 1 through 9 except for 6, so we're missing that. I actually don't know if there's any beyond that. Beyond
I think
9?
it's 10 through 15 that we're missing.
Okay, so yeah, there's quite a few left, but I definitely need to start it. The reason we picked up so much is just because we found all of that for such a good price, so there wasn't a reason to, not pick it up. And then we have some more Tezuka that we picked up on our Austin trip that you can learn a little bit more about in that video if you want to. But yeah, we've definitely expanded our Tezuka collection quite significantly recently.
And plan to get more as well. We love with Tezuka a lot. And the last one on this little cube shelf is mostly our Junji Ito collection, which you can see here consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different volumes that are Junji Ito works. We're not going to go into the details of all of these, but you should look them up if you want. A lot of them are short story collections. There are a couple like Yo, Uzumaki, and Tomie that are completed. They're like stories that are all in one, and you can actually tell from the spines here, these are the short story collections. Then most of those are kind of all in one type stories. He's mostly known for telling short stories, so just be aware of that. He's obviously a horror mangaka. Each of these tell different horror stories, which is very interesting. He's a very, definitely one of our favorite mangaka as well. That's why we have so many of his collection and so much of his work here.
And then we have this next series. I mentioned this mangaka earlier. Go with the Clouds, North by Northwest. I definitely think he did better with the story in this one. But it's also another series that's coming out just really slow. I'm not sure what's going on with that. And I was kind of confused too because the last one's huge compared to the other ones. So I thought it was going to be only 5, but there's definitely more coming. It's just going to take a while.
And next we've got a couple more like sort of one-off type things, which include this Volume 1 of Afro Samurai. I believe there were 2 of these originally printed by 7 Seas, but this actually whole series is getting reprinted by a new publisher, not by 7 Seas this time. So I'm not sure if I'll buy the new print, but I do have this old print of Volume 1 of Afro Samurai. Next to it, Super Sentai Kimitsu Sentai Go Ranger. I believe that's a completed... No, I think it's like a selected works. It might be a completed series. I'm not sure with that one, because I know the Lupin the Third next to it is a selected works. It's not this whole... There's a lot of manga for that one. But 7 Seas did these cool hardcover reprints of those 2, and I'd actually like to get the Kamen Rider one to go with it as well, just because I'm a big fan of Super Sentai and Lupin. Lupin's one of my favorite anime series, one of my top for sure. Then we've got Akira Toriyama's Manga Theater. That's just a collection of his short stories. So you saw that we had Jocko on the other shelf, kind of in the same vein, but just a collection of shorter stories. And then lastly,
we have The Drifting Classroom by Kazuo Umez, who actually inspired a lot of Junji Ito's works. And this is one of his more popular series, and one of the few that's actually printed in English. I think more is on the way.
Yeah, Orochi is currently being printed, also in a hardback by Kazuo Umez. There might be some older single volumes of different ones of his works, but they're a little tougher to get your hands on, I believe. But yeah, that is the conclusion of this shelf. Next, we're going to go upstairs to our other shelves of manga. All right, so very quickly, I do want to show these volumes off. This is 5 volumes of the Japanese One Piece, which includes 99, 100, and 101 for the connecting cover, as well as 1 volume of Dragon Ball in French that was actually gifted to me. So I wanted to show these off before we get into the next shelves. All right, so now we're going to go through our last, what I would call 1.5 manga shelves, which include these 2 shelves that we got from Target. All right, so up top here we have a sealed collection of the 2-volume set of Speed Racer the manga, or Maka Go Go Go. So we do have that still plastic sealed. We bought it like that from a comic book shop here in Dallas. And behind it we have from a Half Price Books the complete box set collection of Buddha, which is an Osamu Tezuka work. Like we mentioned, we've really been into getting more of Tezuka's work. So that was 8 volumes of Buddha. This is another one of his classic series, one that is pretty high regard. And then right here I've got 4 Japanese volumes of Shonen Jump, which are the actual magazines that are released in Japan that collect it. These are all from 2021. And up top here, you'll see that I have an additional 4 more of them that include 2 more 2021 ones and 2 from this year, 2022. You can probably tell from the spines, I mainly collect ones that have One Piece on the cover. So those are kind of previews of the covers right there on the sides of the spines. You also see there the final Young Animal issue that had the final Berserk chapter that premiered in this issue of Young Animal. And then you'll see a collection there of Shonen Jump English prints. These are mainly from when they used to run these magazines back in 2011, as well as a couple from some earlier years there, 2010, 2009, and 2008 issues. Those are personal ones that I actually got in the mail back when I used to order Shonen Jumps as a kid. And then this is the one-off volume of Bobobo that they did. They ended up doing a 5-volume print run of Bobobo that adapted like volumes 10 through 14 or something weird like that. But this was like a 1-volume off they did that goes before that, but still isn't like volume 1. And this is actually signed by Richard Epcar, the English voice actor that did Bobobo in the dub. Next up, we have Waifu's Shelf, honestly.
Vinland Saga, another one of my top series, pretty much up there with Golden Kamuy, especially when it comes to seinens. Vinland Saga is definitely one of my favorites. I love Vikings. If you love Vikings, you should read the series.
And then down here, we have a Yin Press shelf. So Waifu's, another one of Waifu's series here.
Yes, we have Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I have 0 through 13 currently, and it's also still going in Japan, but I'm definitely not stopping with this series. I definitely love and enjoy reading this a lot. So looking forward to more coming out, and right next to it is Yankees. This is the complete series 1 through 6. Another fun, I guess it's kind of like a delinquent manga, but everybody is a cat, but they also have like human personas. So it's really funny and interesting, but yeah, definitely a unique one, that's for sure.
And then we have just volumes 1, 3, and 7. These are the 3 volumes that are still in print of High School of the Dead. Other than the full-color omnibuses, this is kind of the only 3 that you can get. This is a story about teenagers that fight off zombies, essentially in a zombie apocalypse. It does play it a little more seriously, but it does have some comedy and some romance of that stuff too. Definitely one of my favorite manga and anime series growing up, and it's pretty ecchi as well, so prepare yourself if you want to check it out. There are 2 big full-color omnibus editions that they did that are still in print, if you would like to collect the entire series, but the singles are a little harder to get your hands on, mainly volumes 2 and then 4 through 6. So next to it, we have Interspecies Reviewers, volumes 1 through 6, as well as the 2 Darkness comic anthologies. Interspecies Reviewers is a series it's literally about fantasy guys visiting fantasy character brothels. That is the entire premise, and it's pretty funny. I think it's really funny. The manga is actually a little less ecchi.
Spicy.
It's actually a little less spicy than the anime. It's still spicy, but a little less spicy than the anime. I think the manga is actually a little more focused on the comedy.
And right next to that, we have Laid Back Camp. I picked these up for surprise, half price. And actually, Jerry picked them up for me, now that I'm remembering. It's about girls who go camping, and I really want to get more eventually. It's just not on the top of my priority list when it comes to getting manga. But it was very cute, very cozy, I think, as Boogie Snacks had described it before in the past. And that's super true. Definitely a nice laid back. See what I did? Laid back series. Mm-hmm. I'm weird.
Next up, we have 3 volumes of School Live, but they're weird volumes. It's volume 2, 4, and 5. Found these at a half price, and I picked them up because it's a series I've been wanting to try. It's a unique twist on slice of life. That's all I'll say. I don't want to give away the twist. If you know what it is, you know what it is. But yes, I will say I've got some more of this on the way. It's only a 12-volume series. I will most likely complete it. So if you know what I like, you probably will know why I might like this series if you've read it before. Next to it, we've got Tri-Age X volumes 1 through 3. I know that a lot of these volumes are hard to get right now. We recently picked these up at a half price as well. This is actually by, so the artist that did High School of the Dead, he is the artist and writer of Tri-Age X. So wanted to give it a shot. Love the Shoji's artwork. So I'm excited to try it, but I do know there's some volumes that are hard to find, and I know that there's a lot of volumes of the series as well.
Next up, we have Bakano, another half-price find from Austin that I picked up. Another one of those older series that I'd always heard good things about, but just never really gave it any sort of attention, I guess. Once I saw it for a reduced price, I definitely thought, hey, why not? Might as well pick up that first volume and try it out.
Yes, and I've seen the anime as well, and I know it's very great. And the last one for this little shelf here, it's called Sumo Momo Momomo, which is a lot like Bobo Bobo Bobo.
Really
and this is another series by Shinobu Otaka. Again, we didn't really like Orient, but I read a little bit of this series, and I kind of dug it. And I know it's shorter, and I believe Yen Press did print all of it, so I wanted to grab the first one, and mainly it was at half price. It's about like a young woman, and there's like martial arts involved, and she's like the heir to a martial arts like dynasty. It's interesting. There's like romance as well, rom-com elements, but a definitely different take than Orient or Magi from this author for sure. And then last one here on the shelf before we go to kind of the combined smaller shelves is...
This is our Pokemon shelf, if it wasn't obvious. And fun fact, if you're newer to our channel, we actually started out as like a Pokemon card channel. We tried that, but we pivoted more towards manga. But the Pokemon manga is actually, it kind of goes hard. It's really fun. It kind of twists the original stories of the games, and it goes through the original Red, Blue, and Yellow through Emerald and Ruby and Sapphire, and then the last two are kind of like everybody comes together, so all of the heroes that you're familiar with, like Silver and Red and Blue and Gold and all of them, they're in this series. So it's a lot of fun. Definitely recommend people reading it, and these collector's editions are really awesome. And on the next shelf, we have Blade of the Immortal 1 through 6 so far. There's 10 in total. I plan on getting it all at some point. I've read through 3 and I'm still enjoying it. So I think I'll definitely keep collecting these. And the reason I went for these versions instead of the hardcovers is because I love the color blocking effect that it gives when you're putting all the spines together, additionally to the character art that's on the sides there too. So I just felt like it was more visually appealing, and it's really not that hard to read, but you know, you like what you like. So if you like the hardcover versions better, then yeah, respect to you for sure.
Next up, we just have Planetes Volume 2 of the Dark Horse omnibuses they have. So this is kind of our Dark Horse section here. And like you saw before, we already have the singles for this series. So we only grabbed Volume 2 actually because of the fact that it was half off. And we'll probably grab Volume 1 eventually. I really like this reprint of the series as well. And like I told you earlier, it's a series I really respect and love. So had to get that when I saw it for a good price. Next to it, we have I Am a Hero Volumes 1 through 5 in the omnibus editions. Picked these up last year and liked what I read of the first part of it. I like zombie stuff, and that's what kind of brought me into it, and that's kind of the thing here. It almost is like an Ennio Asano work meets a zombie work. Like, that's almost the way I would describe it. It's just a very interesting series. Obviously, I need to get some more and read some more of it. I think it's 11 or 12 omnibuses, but they are a bit harder to get, I think, in the later parts, but yeah, I'm not sure if I'm ready to move forward with it just yet, but I do have the first 5.
And then just a couple random one-off volumes. We have Blood Plus, which is an older manga, just something that, again, we found at a half price, so wanted to pick that up just because it was pretty cool to find that. And then Gigantomaxia, which is another series by Kentaro Miura, the author of Berserk. Rest in peace, my man. So, you know, we wanted to add that to the collection as well, just out of respect for Miura, but, you know, want to enjoy his work as well.
Yep, and then next I have a couple one-off Trigun volumes from Dark Horse, including the Trigun Maximum Omnibus Volume 1, Trigun Maximum Volume 1, and Trigun Maximum Volume 3. I mainly am a fan of the anime of Trigun, so I've never actually read the manga, so I wanted to try to pick it all up because I think it has a divergent story as well, but I know it's a little tougher to get nowadays. I hope that they print them in the nice leather-bound deluxes at some point. That's my hope. Next up we have maybe one of my favorite manga of recent that I've recently read. I read the entire series, and that's Gantz or Gauntz by Hiroya Oku. We have 7 of the original single print of this series. It is being printed in omnibus format now. They're not great omnibuses, they're kind of bricky, But if you want to read the series, might be a fun way to do it. But it's 30-something plus volumes. Really awesome, balls to the wall manga, honestly. Like, if you want something like that, go for it. Next, we have Mob Psycho. We have some weird, kind of random one-off volumes, mainly because we found them all for half price or, like, on a deal. So we have Reagan, and then we also have Volume 1 and 2, and then Volume 5. There's 8 of these currently printed. Definitely one of the best anime series to ever exist, honestly. Just one of the best. For sure. An incredible anime. The manga is a little bit different, because obviously one is a very unique artist. So, tells the story of it's psychic shonen, you know, that sort of thing. And the next we have Keep Your Hands Off Aizokin, Volumes 1 and 2. One that we wanted to try and we found for half off. So we grabbed 1 and 2. I think there's only 3 of those printed in the US. And then the awesome comedy series, Hinamatsuri. Now we're going over to the One Piece book section. This is pretty much all we have from them, actually. Right here is Hinamatsuri and the one-off volume there. But yes, Hinamatsuri, we have 1 through 15 of this series. I believe there's 18 total. So there's just a couple more before this series is completed. And yeah, it's about a psychic Esper girl living with like a Yakuza. It's comedy. There's, you know, obviously a bit of action, a bit of fun stuff. But overall, it's just a blast to read. And it's nice. I don't want to use the word short because 18 volumes is like long-ish. But it's not super long. And then next to that, we have
I Hear the Sunspot. Pretty simple. BL. There's actually a couple of these. And it was a little confusing to figure out, you know, like which is the first one in the series, so hopefully that's right. But picked it up on a movie trading company deal.
Yes. Then I also picked this up. This is at the top here because I haven't been able to fit it on the shelf. It's called Reiko the Zombie Shop. There's only a couple of these volumes that ever got printed in English, and then it was actually canceled, unfortunately, in the English run. But it is a josei series that has some romance and zombie elements, and I love zombie stuff, so if you know me, like, that's just right up my alley. Alright, so now we're into our 7Cs shelf. You might have seen a couple 7Cs titles sitting on our Billy as well. I moved a couple of them down to the Billy bookcases recently to make some room up here, but there's a lot of 7Cs are single volumes, small volumes here. So first you've got Do You Like Big Girls, Volume 1, 2, and 3. One of my favorite new, I almost want to call it a hentai. It's definitely the closest you can get without being, I guess. I don't know. It's wild.
Nasty, man.
It's pretty nasty. Next to it, you've got Welcome to Succubus High, another one that I've kind of become smitten with. Do You Like Big Girls is about a guy joining like a volleyball team. He's like a manager. Succubus High is about a guy transferring to a school full of succubus, and they all are trying to do things with him. So, pretty wild. Kururu Kill Me, though, is not a Nasty Man series. It's actually a Jump Plus series, and it is about a doctor who has fallen in love with an assassin and continues to hire the assassin to kill him in order to see her more. And every time she does it, he revives himself. So kind of an interesting take on a romance with with that shonen element. And then, as Cass would say, the holy text, super heroes, super HX Eros, however you want to say it. Just volume 1 of that series. This is where H energy comes from. Just picked up volume 1 for it for now. Might go for more later.
Next up, we have more of a one-shot called Go For It, Nakamura. Although I think it is getting some sort of sequel soon. Again, it's just a cute little BL that I wanted to pick up and try. And then next to it is How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You've Lifted, which is funny story. You know, this is something that Jerry picked up originally, but I started reading it and really liked it. But it is kind of getting to the point, as I've mentioned with other series, where it feels like it's getting pretty repetitive. So, you know, we don't know if we'll continue picking that up, but right now we have 1 through 8. And, you know, I had fun with what I did read of it. And then, I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about Dorohedoro. This is the other series by that author, Die Dark. Really have been enjoying this. It's a dark sci-fi fantasy series, and it's about a young man who has, like, magic bones, and everybody's trying to get his bones and, you know, get their wishes from his bones. So it's really funny, but it is kind of gruesome, just like Dorohedoro is to some extent.
And then we've got Gigant Volumes 1 through 6. This is the newest outing by Hiroya Oku, the author of Gantz and Inuyashiki. And this one is about a adult movie star who magically becomes able to grow to kaiju sizes and has to combat a impending threat to the Earth that also involves some people from the future. It's pretty much the most off the... It's like they let Oku just go wild with this one, and it's not going to be good for most people, but if you like his work, you might actually get a kick out of this one just because of how bonkers it is.
And next to that one is Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs. This is something we hauled pretty recently, so know that I said that I was just kind of looking for kind of like a cute but ecchi series, so wanted to try that out.
Then we've got Saint Seiya Saint Yasho. This is the all-female retelling of Saint Seiya. I picked up volumes 1 and 2 of this. There's quite a few of this out in English, and it's, I believe, the only Saint Seiya spin-off that's ever been printed in English. So, pretty cool series to have a couple volumes of. Don't know if I'll grab all of it, but I'm happy to have a little bit of it to start with. And then next to that, you're going to see World's End Harem, which recently got an anime, which was not very good, unfortunately. But it is a Shonen Jump Plus series that we have 3 volumes of. This one is about a man who awakes to find out that he is one of the last men on Earth. And, yep, I've read these volumes, haven't read much past that, though. But it is, it's a lot of ecchi fun if you're into that. And also kind of a fun sci-fi plot as well.
Then we have The Girl from the Other Side. I mentioned this earlier, too. We have 1 through 3. More on the way, because I definitely really fell in love with this series and I fell fast for it. I just haven't focused on getting it, but now I am. So there's more on the way, and it's fantasy, but there's mystery elements to it as well. And next to that is J.K. Rowling's A Sex Worker in Another World, which is a manga adaptation of a light novel. We actually got this from our good pal Tibby, because he said, I hate this, so he just gave it to us. Yeah, it's not good, but it's in our collection anyway.
Yep. And then lastly, you have the complete manga collection of I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. A very sad one-off. I believe it's based off a novel originally, so a pretty interesting one to have as well. All right, and this is our very last shelf, actually. So at the bottom here, we actually have our yen press, the more tall yen presses, as well as a stack of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z in what I would consider the OG printing of this series. They actually printed Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, I believe, simultaneously, and they printed the first 10 volumes of both, so it would be 20 volumes in this slightly larger trim size. And I've been trying to get all 20 of them. As you can see here, I'm missing a couple, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of OG Dragon Ball, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of Dragon Ball Z. So you can't get the entire series in this trim size, but you can get the first 10 volumes of both. So I've been trying to get all 20 of those, but they are getting a little tougher to track down. I mainly look at half-price books to try to find all these. That's where I found all those. And then next here, we have Judge, which is the sequel series to another manga you're going to see. There's 5 volumes of this. I found the first 2. I'd like to get the other 3. This is a series that I have read before. It's sort of like Among Us, but a manga, honestly. It's kind of a way to describe it, even though it came out before Among Us. But kind of a similar concept, like Wolf, or like if you ever played like Werewolf or Mafia with your friends. Kind of the same concept, but death game manga, if that makes any sense.
And next to that is Run on Your New Legs, a fairly new series. Haven't gotten the chance to read it yet, but it definitely looks really interesting. A new twist on sports manga. And then 1 and 2 of Solo Leveling, which is actually a manhwa originally, which is Korean manga, basically, if you're not familiar. It's really popular, so you've probably heard of it. So we've got the 3rd one on the way as well to haul eventually, but wanted to try that series as well. And then next to that is Captivated by You, which is another kind of like BL, more serious drama oriented is what it seems. Haven't gotten the chance to read it yet, but again, just a half price find that was hard to pass up.
Yep. And then the last shelf down here.
Yep. More manga over here. Oh, this has been so long. We got Delicious Dungeon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. One of those situations where if I read it, I'll fill in the pieces later on, and if I enjoy it. Plunderer, though, I have quickly fallen in love with Plunderer. I have some miscellaneous volumes, as you can see, and some of them don't quite fit on the shelf yet. Pick some up at half price, pick some up at Kino. More is on the way from Right Stuff, but this has quickly become such an enjoyable series for me.
And then next you've got 1, 2, and 5 of Prison School. Found all 3 of these at Half Price Books, which is why I only have these 3 random volumes. I have every intention of completing that series. I mentioned it earlier. I would like to get every printed work by that author. I'm a big Prison School fan, as well as their follow-up series, Raw Hero. And, I have a dream to get their earlier series, Me and the Devil Blues. So we'll see if I ever get my hands on that older printing of that series, but it's definitely on my wish list.
And then we have some miscellaneous Yowamushi Pedal volumes. You can see that there's 2 ones. The one on the left is actually a Loot Crate exclusive, which is interesting. We found a lot of Loot Crate exclusive manga volumes. Didn't really realize that they did that, but yeah, we've got 1, 2, and 5. I've kind of accepted that I probably won't finish out this series. It's some of the stuff is completely out of print, so it's hard to put together. So, I'll probably just, read it in other ways eventually.
Then we've got volume 1 and 2 of Doubt. This is in the same sort of universe as Judge. Comes before Judge. It goes Doubt, Judge, and then Secret are the 3 series in that universe. And yes, I've read this one as well. Again, it's sort of just a fun murder mystery. Yeah, that sort of elements to it, but it's still a very cool series if you're into that stuff.
Then we got Skullface bookseller Honda-san. It's the author's kind of like autobiography of working in a manga bookstore. I'm pretty sure it's Kinokuniya, like legit Kinokuniya over in Japan, just based off of like what is shown in the manga. It's really cute. I would just recommend only reading 1 through 3 because 4 is just kind of more of like spin-off stories of them actually becoming a mangaka. So, but it's still cute. It's a cute one.
Great, and then the last series in our manga collection tour is, oddly, Raw Hero, volumes 1 through 6. This is complete. This is the follow-up work to Prison School by author Akira Hiramoto. It is very, 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 very strange and very, very, very 18 plus. Please do not read this if you're not an adult, but there's a world, there's superheroes, there is some extortion that's involved, there is a character that ends up in some really weird situation. It's a really weird series, but if you're into that stuff and you want to read something strange, Raw Hero is the one for you, and that is the finale of our manga collection tour. Alright everyone, I hope that you guys enjoyed that manga collection shelf tour. We went through all of the manga that we have here, and I hope that it was a lot of fun for you guys. And if you made it to the end, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. That helps us out here in the YouTube algorithm. But also, it just helps us to grow and meet more people who love manga just like we do. And that's sort of the purpose of all of this, right? Additionally, if there are any series that you feel like we went too fast over and you want to hear more about, make sure to comment down below and we will answer any questions or talk to you about any of these series. Because obviously we either purchase them because we want to read them or we have already read them. So we would love to talk to you about any of these. And additionally, make sure you tune in because we're going to be doing more hauls and adding to the collection over the coming months. So on that note, this has been another episode of My Waifu and Me. And we're saying peace.